right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Ron Cook in just a matter of moments, and we're talking about the Steelers tonight, so give us a call, 412-575-2600. You can always hit me up on Twitter, @Richie Walsh. And Ben Roethlisberger practiced today. Ron had a chance to talk to him yesterday. He spoke to the media today. He feels better than ever at this point of the season, Ron, and I think this is a good sign for the Steelers in the second half of the season. Not quite the second half of the season, but at the break. And I think he pointed out that this offense has to get out to a better start, and I totally 100% agree with that.
Yeah, it's good to hear that he's feeling great because he had an elbow problem a little bit in his first 6 games. He got hurt in Cleveland, and he said it affected his throwing a little bit. But great to hear he's back to full health. I thought he played just some great football in these last 2 wins. I like the way this offense is coming around. Vance McDonald has become a big part of it. Obviously, James Conner doing great, and it's nice to see Ben and Antonio back, working their magic together these last couple weeks. Hopefully that continues Sunday against the Browns.
Do you think the bye week came at the perfect time? Because, you can kind of say it every year,
absolutely,
no matter when it is. But I guess it was a good time because Morgan Burnett's healthy now. It looks like LJ Fort could help out. This has helped Ben.
Right.
But the only thing that I worry about, and one of the questions that was asked today, is can it be disruptive for an offense that kind of had momentum?
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a bad time for a bye week because the players love to get that little break and heal up a little bit. And I think what you said, they're about as healthy as you can be after 6 games going in. Now they got 10 to go, so it's going to be a grind from here on out. But I don't think it'll take them long to get the offense back, although, as great as Mike Tomlin's record is in his October, November, and December, I think I figured it out the other day, he's 53 games over 500. October, November, then December/January regular season games. But I think they're 1-4 in their past 5 years after their bye. They got to change that this Sunday.
Yeah, no question, especially this year because they have 2 division games. And this is really, I think, an important 2 weeks for the Steelers.
Absolutely.
Because you got to look at where they are now. 3 weeks ago we were sitting here talking about, hey, are they going to make the playoffs? They're last in the division. Now they're first, and they have a chance to take a big lead.
Yeah, I think this Cleveland game, you got to beat Cleveland at home. And then Baltimore, if somehow you find a way to win there, you split the series with them. That gets you back in the tiebreaker race, the division. You don't want to lose division games now. What are they, 1-1-1, I believe?
Yeah.
You got to do better than 1-3-1 after these 2 games, because then you won't win any tiebreakers.
Yeah, you got to split with Baltimore too. They had to Baltimore in 2 weeks, and I think that's a very important game. I like their chances here against Cleveland. Cleveland's kind of in that team turmoil right now with the offensive situation, and I think that the Steelers aren't taking. Yeah,
I can't wait to hear what Todd Haley has to say tomorrow. I think he meets the media tomorrow. Hugh Jackson just totally emasculated him by saying, I'm going to take more control of this offense. It isn't good enough. I can't imagine what Haley's said in private about that. I asked Ben about it the other day. He laughed. He goes, I'm sure Todd didn't like it too much.
Yeah, you wouldn't think. But, this team is doing better than I think a lot of people expected. And I think the one thing about the Steelers, they won't be taking the Browns lightly this time around. Maybe they did in the first week. Also, 6 turnovers by the offense doesn't help, but I would be surprised if they don't jump out to a big lead against this team.
You'd like to think so. Again, you can't lose to Cleveland at home. You just can't. It was bad enough that they tied in Cleveland. You can't lose to them at home. And be a good team. You can't.
All right, so it seems like Patrick Peterson, the trade for him is kind of done. He basically said he doesn't want to be traded today. Yesterday he wanted to be traded. Today he doesn't.
Right.
Do you think the Steelers need to make some kind of move? Usually they don't, but do you think they do?
Well, it was fascinating to think about Peterson. I don't think they ever were going to. They don't trade #1 draft choices. And Arizona said they weren't going to trade him anyway. So talk about to dream a little bit, because I really think they're close to being a Super Bowl contender, Rich. And I don't know that they can with the secondary, with the way Artie Burns and Cody Sensabaugh have been playing. You'd like to see them find some sort of upgrade. It doesn't have to be a leap from here up to here, but maybe from here to here.
Yeah.
Find somebody a little better, because I think the offense is ready. I think Bostic has done a much better job at inside linebacker. The defensive line, Tuitt and Hargrave, I thought were very good in Cincinnati. Cam has been good. You get a cornerback in here, you have a chance to be the one missing piece. Would have been great to be Peterson. I didn't ever think it was going to happen, but it was fun to talk about.
Yeah, it definitely was. And maybe they're optimistic that Artie Burns can turn into that guy that they think that he can. You also have Morgan Burnett back there that he's healthy now.
Maybe Cam Sutton will get a chance at that corner.
You're right. Maybe Cam Sutton will too. And before we go to break, we always have to give up our nightly Le'Veon Bell update. He's still not there. He's probably not going to show up this week. I would be very surprised if he did. I mean, at this point, I think it's going to be until he has to show up, which is what, week 10?
Yeah, and I mean, there's some speculation he might come in next week after the trade deadline because he doesn't, once he signs that tender, they could trade him if they wanted to. There's been speculation he might not come in until next Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess, or maybe week 10, but we're starting to get a lot closer to week 10 here. Now, I still think he's going to come in. I still think he's going to help them. I have no idea when, and I think the players they're happy with Connor, and I thought it was very interesting this week that both Antonio and Ramon Foster lobbied for Peterson.
Yeah.
Seems like they care about getting Peterson in here more than they care about getting Le'Veon in.
Yeah,
probably more important to them at a better position.
They probably realize that now, knowing that James Conner is doing what he's doing right now, and I think that's a good thing. They continue to win. He's producing. If they get Le'Veon Bell at any point, it's like icing on the cake right now. You have two great running backs. All right, well, we got to take a break. Back with your phone calls, 412-575-2600, and maybe some tweets. See you in a couple minutes.